Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Bernie here along with Pete.
Woo!
Today, guys, of course, we got another episode of The Charge. We got to talk about, is Anthony Davis a new MVP contender? We, of course, got to talk about LeBron, more LeBron talk.
Gotta get that LeBron talk.
And also some power rankings talk. Who should be number one, who should be number two?
Number two.
Let's find out on The Charge. All right, Peter. Of course, we got to start off with this MVP talk. It's been probably the craze since Anthony Davis and the Pelicans have been going on this stretch.
Yep.
Of course, the Pelicans lost last night to the Jazz, but that's not really the main talking point. The main talking point is that Anthony Davis got a triple-double in that game with 10 blocks.
10 blocks. I love it. We were talking about this off camera.
Yeah.
10-block game gets me a little excited. All right? I get a little... Hey, not trying to be sus, but I get a little excited about a 10-block game. That's like...
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive. I mean,
that's like... I care about that. I told you this too. I care about that much more than I care about like a 40-point game.
Yeah.
You get 10 blocks, woo, woo, get the chills a little bit.
Get the chills.
Anthony Davis, I just don't think their team has the wins to put him as a legit contender. And I think that's a lot of guys' big problem. Mm-hmm. Like I actually, and people might look at me a little sideways, give me the side look. But I honestly think the one person who had a legit chance to catch James Harden, and I'm not going to say LeBron. I think their team's not good enough either. Yeah. I think it was Jimmy Butler. Like, I think if Jimmy Butler had stayed healthy and they had kept putting on some wins, he had a legit chance to do it. Just for the two-way impact that he has on the team, he would have filled that Kawhi Leonard role of, like, a guy who has major impact on both sides. But more so than Anthony Davis, my guy right now that I'm looking at, just because I think their team is better, I think it's Dame Lillard.
Dame Lillard, okay.
I think he has a better shot. Nobody's catching Harden. It's just not possible. But just for the sake of we're 2 or 3 weeks from the end of the regular season, this is when the conversation has to start happening legitimately. Yeah. This is when actual MVP discussion should happen, not like a week into the season or 2 weeks in. Like the Porzingis Giannis discussion that a lot of people had, like even we had it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's Harden's trophy to lose, you know.
Yeah.
I think the only guy who could steal some votes away, it's Davis is probably going to steal a couple, but I think Damian Lillard could as well.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the stats and all, and like the standings, of course, you know, the Rockets are 52-14.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard for me to put someone, the MVP, the most valuable player in the league. Of course, if it was my choice, the most valuable player would probably be LeBron, just because of what he brings to that team.
Yeah.
But if we're talking just, you know, as like who's the best player of this season?
Yeah.
Like it's hard not to put James Harden in there because he's been playing so well. The Rockets have been on a huge winning streak before losing to the Raptors.
Yeah.
For Drake Knight. But I don't know, man. Like James Harden has been snubbed of this MVP so many times. I understand this is probably like a retroactive. Here, Harden, sorry we screwed you over 3 times. Here's your MVP now.
Yeah. Like he should have won last year. In my opinion, he was clear cut. He should have won last year.
Yeah.
I actually think there's more of a debate this year, honestly, with LeBron as bad as the Cavaliers are. I think there's more of a debate that LeBron should win this year than Russell should have had last year. Yeah. That's just my opinion. I think the triple-double thing was so overrated. But a couple things with Harden. I think like his defense is so... It's overly exaggerated how bad it is. It's not that bad. Like, he's not good.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's not that bad. Like, he's not such a liability that, like, it makes him not worth the MVP. You know?
Exactly.
Like, I don't think he's any worse than, like, for example, Russell Westbrook is. Like, he's not very good either, but he's not the worst defensive player on the court, you know? But another thing with Harden, too, is, like you said, he's probably going to win just retroactively. Like, it's like an Oscar, you know? They give people the awards for, like, the year before when they should have won. He's probably going to get it. But I think, like, Anthony Davis deserves it more, too. Yeah. Like, honestly, his team is so bad. Like, Drew Holiday is their second best player, and he's playing really, really good, but the rest of that team is bad.
Yeah, I think with Anthony Davis, to me, especially in his first couple seasons, because, of course, he was supposed to be, like, this next coming of Jesus Christ himself for the NBA because, you know, he was a guard, but also had point guard handles because he was originally 6'2" before he grew to like 6'11".
Yeah.
Till college. But, you know, he's been a little bit disappointing to me because he hasn't made the playoffs often. Actually, he hasn't made it at all.
See, I would say he's lived up to all the hype, personally. Like, he's probably the best college player, one and done, I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Like, he was so good that year in Kentucky. And I think he's been that good in the NBA ever since. I honestly just think the Pelicans have the worst management in the entire NBA. Like, the teams they put around him are bizarre. And even the choice of DeMarcus Cousins, like, we've talked about it a lot. Like, it started to work before he got hurt. Mm-hmm. But even then, like, I think that's... I don't know. I just don't agree with that team. Like, it doesn't work in the NBA.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that, you know, like, I think we talked about it numerous times. You're not expecting a 19 to 20-year-old to really carry your franchise anymore like you did back in the day, because back in the day, they didn't just go for one and dones. They were actually there for at least 2 to 3 seasons. Yeah. You know, 21, 22, sometimes 23.
I mean, look at, like, let's go to, like, Patrick Ewing. Right? Yeah. Like, he came out of college and he was ready to go. Yeah. You know, like, he was a man at that point. Mm-hmm. But Anthony Davis, I mean, his just in-game performance, he's easily a top 3 player in the league and has been for a couple of years.
Yeah. But my thing is just only the reason why I don't put him as, like, he's the number 2, I think, for me. And then I'd probably put LeBron and then Dame Lillard, who would probably get some votes. Yeah. To me, with Anthony Davis, it just stems from the fact that he's had a couple seasons now in the NBA. He's not... This is the time where he's in his prime now. He should be excelling at all levels. But it wasn't until they brought in Boogie Cousins to help him a little bit before he got injured, to where he's finally now ascended to top 10, maybe top 8 best player.
Yeah. I think the thing with him, too, is he's such, like, what he wants to be, and he has wanted to be since Boogie got hurt. When he wants to be a good defender, he's, like, unstoppable. Like, exactly. Or you just can't get past him, I should say. Like, he's that good on defense because he is so big and, like, just he's long. Right. He's probably the best defender in the league this season, in my opinion. Just in the time since Boogie's been hurt, he's been the best defender.
Yeah, I would say so.
I would say.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty good. I mean, he's definitely should probably get some votes for Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah. Along with others, maybe Rudy Gobert and Paul George, of course. But I don't know. This is a very interesting discussion to have. Of course, you know, like we talked about, James Harden retroactively will probably win this award, even though he's been playing really well. I think the reason they just decided to give him the award this year, and I think it started and stemmed since the beginning of the season, was just based on the fact that he probably deserved the award 2-3 years ago, and now it's like, all right, we're not gonna focus. We're not reporters. We're not gonna focus on other players. Yeah. For storylines, we're just gonna focus on James Harden as, like, the main dude.
I do think it's interesting, though. I think a lot of people, like, especially, like, people in our position, like, I almost feel like we're coming up with reasons not to want James Harden to win. Yeah. I know personally I am, and it's nothing against James Harden. I just want somebody else to win, and it's not his fault. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's kind of like a big thing going on in the NBA. Like, he should be the consensus MVP for everyone, just based on how good their team is and how good he's been. But a lot of people are like, but Anthony Davis, though, you know? Mm-hmm. But Steph Curry, though. You know, I feel like everybody's coming up with a reason not to want James Harden to win.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of almost, I won't put it like in wrestling terms, but, you know, it's just like when the NBA or like when the reporters want one dude to be the guy. Yeah. But then they don't really, I mean, it's not like James Harden's not likable, but there's other dudes that they like, and they just want the other guys to also get an award as well. So I think it just comes off as that kind of mentality, but I mean, we'll see. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that James Harden is the MVP, or do you guys think Anthony Davis is? And if it's not those two, who is it? Let us know in the comments down below.
The one last thing, I think the biggest thing that's working in Harden's favor as of right now is his crossover on Wesley Johnson. Yeah. Like, now I think that is like the moment people are going to look back to as his MVP crowning moment. Yeah. Regardless if they win the championship or not, people are going to look back at that one moment and be like, that's classic, you know?
Yeah, that was pretty good crossover.
Classic.